Yo. What's up, baby? I see you.
Prince Markie Dee.
The legendary Prince Markie Dee in the building. Yeah.
You looking like cool.
Yeah. Look at that boy. That boy
you looking like cool. You look great.
He looking about 150, 170.
Now wish.
What you down to? You looking good, baby.
Cool got you like this. This Cool Rock got you like this.
You looking good, man. You looking like one of these young rappers.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate it, man.
Like you know what we interviewed.
Go ahead. No.
I was about to tell him we interviewed Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony. That's what you looking like right now. You looking like Busy.
That's my dog.
And he Puerto Rican too.
Yeah, that's my dog.
He's Puerto Rican too, man. So
yes, sir.
That's what's up, man.
Yep.
Well, check this out, man. Welcome to the show, man. It's a privilege, man. This is rap royalty. This is the beginning, the pioneer. You was there when God blew the smoke, dog. You was there when God threw the dust in the air, dog. In the beginning.
Since 83.
83. Are you kidding?
When you guys dropped the Fat Boys, the title album, I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And I was a fan ever since.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, I bought every album that ever came out, through every cassette tape that came out. I used to live down the street from Slim Goody. And every time y'all came out with one that came on the radio, I was down at Slim Goody looking for it. And I gotta tell you, I know your parts. I know Cool's parts.
You know what I gotta ask, man? You listen here, Prince, man. Do you sit back, man? You was there when it started, and you here now. Do you ever just sit back and look at it all and go, "Damn, we done came a long way"? What's your thoughts about the evolution up till now?
You know what? I was on a live the other day, and who was on the live? Dougie Fresh and LL.
Wow.
And I'm watching them, and Dougie was talking, and Dougie said something really interesting. He said he's happy to be a piece of the puzzle.
Oh, that's dope.
I'm looking, and basically what he was saying is that, all of us, L, Run DMC, the Fat Boys, Dougie Fresh, Slick, all these guys, we're all pieces to a magnificent, beautiful puzzle that we call the culture of hip hop.
Right.
And I feel the same way, like he said, I'm proud to be a piece of that puzzle. I'm proud to have contributed to something that I love so much, and something that shaped my life, and, did so, before I was rapping, I lived in a section of Brooklyn called East New York. Growing up in East New York, it was, really hard. Financially, my family didn't have any money. It was just my mother, me, and my brother. And when we moved on that particular block, my mom had just bought the house that we lived in. She only paid, there's a program in New York, I don't know if it's still doing it, but it's called the HUD program. And it's basically, you can buy a home for $1, but the home is destroyed. It's like an abandoned building. And you basically have to bring it up to code by a certain date.
Right.
So my mother had bought a HUD home for $1. We lived there, and we went through it, and then as soon as I started rapping and we started touring, that bread started rolling in. I was able to change my life, man, and my family's, and I owe everything to hip hop, I owe everything to the culture. That's why now I try, when we were younger, we had a lot of testosterone. There was a lot of headbutting and all of that. But as you get older, and, you think more, and you get a little wiser, you learn to appreciate, being able to be in situations. Like, my mind is like, we didn't have smartphones back then. I wish we did. There'd be so many moments captured, but everything, all those tours and all those films we did, and everything is all up here. And I remember so much of it, And like I said, it's beautiful, man. It makes me proud. It makes me proud to be able to play the part. Like, the way I look at it is the Fat Boys running them, Houdini. We were the ones that exposed hip hop to the masses with the Fresh Fest tours and the movies and all that stuff like that.
Right.
Right. And I'm proud to have done that, man. Crazy.
And shout out to the Fat Boys, man. We talking about 3 movies. You had the Crush Grooving movie. We could talk all day about Crush Grooving. That's my favorite movie. I'm an old break dancer, so know how I feel about that.
Okay.
So Crush Grooving, and then what was the other? What was
Disorderlies?
Yeah, the Disorderlies. Yeah. And then
And,
what was it? What was this Knights of the City? I found something else called Knights of the City. What was all that about?
I can't hear you.
It was Knights of the City. I seen another movie.
I can't hear what you're saying. I don't know.
Okay.
You said that there was another movie called Knights of the City.
I don't know what you're talking about, huh?
Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
Let me
Fair enough.
No. Honestly, we were in Miami shooting a scene for this really big 80s TV show called Miami Vice, right?
Yo.
While we were shooting that, there's an actor, Leon Isaac Kennedy, big 80s actor, black star. And he heard we were in town and he asked us to do a scene in a film he was doing called Knights of the City. Right. So we were in this scene in jail. We were all in prison. Like we got locked up and it's like,
right.
When you first get locked up, you go on a little shit before they book you and all that. Right. We're all in there. And the main characters are arguing or whatever, and then we just start rapping out of nowhere. And Curtis blows in it with us also. We all start rapping, and we kind of make the scene into like a party scene, But that was it. It was just a quick little scene. I just don't like to mention it because of what they made me wear. Like,
oh wow! Now I'm gonna have to go back and check it out because that's one movie I never saw.
Oh,
now let me ask you this: with you being there in the beginning, what was your inspiration for rapping? Because it don't seem like who was around? Grandmaster Flash?
Yeah, there was a lot of groups in New York that were bubbling and popping. That's how we got introduced.
Who was your inspiration?
My inspirations were Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Fantastic Romantic Five, the Disco Four, in particular Prince Whip and the Devastating Tito from Fearless Four, because they were the first Puerto Rican rappers that I'd ever heard. So
who was the Disco 4? Because you guys originally called yourself the Disco 3.
Right. You see, we named
Disco 4.
The Disco 4 was another group from New York, and they used to rap, and we used to love them. Like we used to whenever they dropped a new tape, we used to run and get the tape. We loved them so much that we named ourselves the Disco 3 because we never thought that we were going to be successful outside of our block. So we called ourselves Disco 3, and then next thing you know, we're bigger than the Disco 4. So
wow.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Prince Whip, we interviewed him, man. I see him all the time, man. His girl live in the area. I see him and talk to him all the time. He was one of our first interviews on the show, man. And we went back with him too, man. And he gave us a history lesson as well, man. So shout out to Whip, man.
Yeah, Whip was the first rhyme I ever heard him say, and that made me start loving him is my name is Whip, and I'm Puerto Rican. You might think I'm black by the way I'm speaking. And once I say that, like, we Puerto Rican too. I started going crazy.
I can't wait to sing.
Not only were you guys the pioneers, one of the first to do it, invention of the beatbox, all that, that everybody was trying to do. I don't know if anybody knew this, but you guys are under celebrated. You guys, and I saw this on the YouTube documentary about y'all. You guys actually outsold everybody at the time. Run DMC, everybody. You sold more albums than everybody. You were that popular, and I'm wondering why I used to think it was just me that I loved the Fab, but you guys sold albums, and you were the first group to actually do the crossover into mainstream music.
Right.
So why is it that y'all guys never got the due credit y'all ever got? I mean, y'all sold a lot. Y'all outsold Run DMC.
Well, basically, it's kind of like if you weren't there, you don't really understand. You know what I mean? Like only if you were there, if you were, paying attention at that time, if you were old enough to see what we were doing, then you really understand it. We get so much love from the fans. The people who don't show us love is normally media. It's the younger guys that are coming into the game now and weren't there, so they really don't know the impact we had. Like when I tell people they find out I meet somebody and then they'll be like, oh, you Prince Markie Dee with the Fat Boys, yeah, you used to rap, right? And I'd be like, yeah, we used to know. And when I get to telling them that we were like as big as Drake is right now during the 80s, they don't get it. They're like, for real? Like, yeah, like we sold millions of records, we did tours, movies. you know, and all types of shit, you know, and they basically, then they start getting it. But it's basically a lot of young media. They just don't, they look at us kind of like, they know about us, but they kind of look at us like a gimmick because we were kind of comic, you know, we use a lot of comedy in our songs.
Right.
So they didn't take us these guys don't really take us serious, you know? So,
and you mentioned that in an interview you did before that you guys are you kind of got away from what started you, the Fat Boys. You kind of got away from your personality, which, you know, in a way kind of, I get that rap was changing, but you guys were still popular. I was still popular. Matter of fact, you guys, there was a few albums where there was no beatboxing.
No, this is the deal. We went through a couple of different evolutions as far as lyrically and song-wise and everything. Mm-hmm. When we first came out, before anybody ever heard a record, we were basically street rappers. We were just like Run DMC, just like LL, just like all of that. The great thing about it was Buff with his beatboxing was crazy, and he was big, and then my man Kool Rock was big, and I was kind of big too. You know what I'm saying? So when we first recorded like the lyrics for the song Fat Boys, the very first single, Fat Boys, it wasn't all that about eating food and all that. It was just calling us Fat Boys, but we fly, you know. And I remember there was some rhyme about carrying a gun and all this crazy, you know, like regular rap shit. Right. And my manager was like, "Nah, y'all need to switch that. Like, let's get on this comedy." So we tried it and we liked it. You know what I'm saying? So that was one evolution we had to switch from. And then after that, Run DMC was actually the first group to do a song with Aerosmith that really crossed them over. And our answer to Walk This Way was Wipeout.
Right,
you know?
right.
And that was all our manager's call. You know, he was kind of like,
okay.
I was like, let's get back to what we was doing on the first album. I don't want to do a song with the Beach Boys, you know? I mean, I all respect, those guys are amazing, they're legends and everything, but it wasn't, you know, we did it because we're kids and our manager told us to do it.
Right.
Did I voice my opinion about it? Strongly. Like, nah, I don't want to do this. Because I thought it was going to be the downfall of, you know, tumbling as far as the group is concerned. And it did start a chain effect, which in the next two albums, everybody kind of looked at us like, you know, like sellouts, or because back then, if you crossed over into pop, you were considered a sellout. So you didn't want nothing to do with that. Today is after you want to be pop, you want to be the king of pop today.
It's but back then,
even crossing over into R&B was kind of a taboo at the time, wasn't it? You know, doing songs with R&B artists at the time.
Not really, because our songs were Curtis Blow. I don't know if you know a young lady by the name of Allison Williams. She's a big 80s star. Yes. She's the one that sung Fat Boys. Fat Boys, you know, down by low. Okay. Another artist, Fonda Ray, Over Like a Fat Rat. That song.
Oh, okay.
She sung Fat Boys Are Back. That was her. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So we were doing songs with these artists, and all our songs were ill basses, bass lines, and singing choruses and everything. So it was kind of R&B. That was cool to do.
That's why it was hard to see the comedy in it, because y'all bass line was so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hard. Did she sing Falling in Love too? That was one of my favorites.
Falling in Love
is the serious.
No, that was some girl that Buff got to sing on that. But the girl talking on that song, the one talking to Buff, he's like, come on, baby. Like, that's Pepper.
Right.
That's Pepper talking, yeah.
Okay.
He brought up one of his exes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you mind talking about that? Was that a good relationship, man? Was she cool?
Well, we were kids, you know what I mean? We were, you know, I was 17 years old. She was 20 or 21. So, you know what I mean? We were little kids. We just
okay. That's a good look, man. High five.
I did not know that. I did not know that was Pepper on that song.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? One of the blessings of having you on here, man, we get to you was there with the startup of the beatbox. Come on, man. Talk about the beginning of the beatbox, man. You was there when the beatbox was invented. You know,
this is the thing. This is the thing that's crazy about it. All right. So I move on to a block, Skank, between New Lots and Hegeman in East New York, right? So I live on this side of the street, and 4 houses down to my left, Kool Rock Ski lives there. That's how I met him. I met him in probably 79, 80, right? We were like 10 years old or something like that, 11 years old, some shit like that.
Wow.
2 years later, Buff moves across the street from me, but 3 houses down.
Right.
So we would all hang out every day. I used to play Ivy League football all the way up to high school football. I wanted to play in the NFL as my dream and everything. And when I wasn't suited up playing on the field, we were playing street ball. So that's how we met Buff. He was, well, come play with us. So he jumped in and he used to truck everybody. Buff was short. He had the leverage. He used to truck everybody. So one day we have an abandoned lot in the middle of our block. And there was these big concrete tubes. And that was kind of like the hangout spot. And we were sitting there one day and he just started beatboxing. And we was like, and as he's beatboxing, like I'm feeling it in my chest, like the bass is like, bam. I'm like, yo. So I had just started rapping maybe like 2 weeks before he did that. And I started rhyming, to him beatboxing. Then we started doing it every day. So that's the first time I ever in my life heard anybody beatbox or anything like that.
Wow.
About a year before we put Fat Boys out, Dougie Fresh put out a song. So he was the first one we heard on the radio beatboxing. But
okay.
I heard of Dougie Fresh, but I heard Buff beatboxing on the block. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
okay.
That was the deal.
Wow.
So it's a question. It's kind of a question on who started it first.
Yeah, nobody knows. Buff could have. Dougie could have. I never really asked Dougie when he started doing it, and I never asked Buff either. I just remember when he did it that day, and I asked him how he did it, and he was like, I used to, play records, and I used to just trace the beat with my mouth. And I was like, but damn, like you going down, like, you know what I mean? Like he was crazy.
Now,
kind of like that's kind of like Tesla.
Had they ever went at it before? Has him and Biz or him and Doug ever went at it before a beatbox contest?
We've done we've done shows together, and Dougie would perform. We were bigger at the time, so Dougie would perform first, and then we come on after him, and we make sure we try. But it wasn't no direct mic on mic, like, all right, you go now. But there was like some street tension in it because of the show, the song, The Show. Because back then, rappers weren't really called. The first rapper to really call anybody out was Kool Moe Dee against Busy Bee. That was the first call somebody out, like, and really talk about somebody. So when Dougie said, well, I'm known for the
Right.
So that, not for the
you're right.
When he did that, that was kind of like a diss to us.
That was a diss.
Right. Yeah, that was considered a diss. And we was like, what? Like, oh, you talking? What? So there was a couple of times that, we see each other at parties and I was about to roll up on them and, you know what I mean? Cooler heads prevailed. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh my God, I was such an asshole, like so stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I apologized to him 1,000 times and told him that I, worship the ground that he walks on. And, he's a legend, icon, and he deserves all that praise. And he's so amazing. Let me tell you what this guy did for us, man. We performed on this, there's a morning show, a syndicated morning show, and they have a cruise every year, right? So we perform every year. They have old school artists on that cruise. So we performed one year, and as soon as I got on the boat, Dougie walks up to me and goes, Mark, listen to me. Before you say anything, it would be my honor if you allow me to do the human beatbox. Stick 'em, ha, ha, ha. If you allow me
I saw that
with you guys. And I was like, hell yeah. He said, thank you. I've been practicing it for a month. I want to make sure that Buff gets love. I want to make sure that I honor him correctly.
Right.
That blew me away, man.
Oh, that's what's up.
Like, I was like, because that's all I care about. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
I remember like VH1 honors. They had hip hop honors. They honoring all these groups, and they didn't even mention us not one time.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I didn't care, but I wanted Buff to be recognized. Like,
exactly.
See, that's the thing I was talking about earlier. That's what I was talking about earlier, because you guys made such an impact in what was called B-boy at the time. You guys were one of the pioneers, and I don't think you get your just credit for what you contribute to the industry. I really don't. Let me ask you this question. I always wondered about this. There was a group that came out that emulated you guys.
The Skinny Boys.
The Skinny Boys. And when I first heard them, I was almost offended, because I was a huge Fat Boys fan. And I'm like, I got offended. I'm like, well, who does these sucker MCs?
We didn't get into it. You know what? Listen,
what did you think about them?
I didn't get into it. I don't know about you on your side of town, but we didn't get into it. We never got into it. We heard it, but we never got into it.
But actually, the Skinny Boys, we met them often because they were managed by our same manager. It was kind of like, it was his idea. Yeah, it was his idea to kind of get another group to counteract. Like, it was no group, even nothing like that. And actually, I'm really good friends with them on IG now. Like, we talk all the time on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
But
were they fans of yours? Were they fans of yours?
I mean, honestly, when I see them in the office, we would just what's up and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Like we were like we'd hardly ever in town. We were touring and commercials, and we were never there. But when I did see them, it was just what's up, dog? How y'all doing? Y'all good? All right, bless, and keep it moving. And that was it. So
they were with Sultra?
They were with Tin Pineapple Management.
Okay.
Tin Pineapple was our management, our manager, Charles Stepper.
Okay. They went with the Sultra label. They went with the Sultra label.
No, Sutra was a label. Sutra was a label that the first label we got signed to.
Right.
And then they stole like $1 million for us that my mom's actually found out about. And when she found out about it, we were going to sue them for like $10 million. And we said, just give us a release. Just release us. And he was like, all right. So he released us, and went over and we did a deal at Polygram, like a big ass deal at Polygram.
Hey,
I heard one more question. You had one of the sad stories I heard is that you was actually the last person to talk to Buff before he passed.
Yeah.
You had just got off the phone with him or something, and you was talking about getting back into the studio.
Yeah. But I was at this point, I just signed a deal with Sony through Tommy Mottola, and he basically gave us like the world. Mariah Carey I wrote and produced Real Love for Mary J. Blige.
Right.
So
Mariah loved that song so much. She was married to Tommy Mottola at the time. And she says, Tommy, whoever did this song, go sign them. So he gave us like anything we asked. Like we had the illest deal ever. Like that deal was crazy. And I could put out 3 artists a year through our Soul Convention label, through Sony, So I went to Buff, and the group, they got 2 guys, they weren't touring, they were just home, and Buff was dealing with some health issues. So I told Buff, listen, get your health right. If whatever you need here, like I took, make sure he was straight.
Right.
And I told him, when you healthy, we'll do a new album, and we'll record, we'll tour, we'll do all that. Like, don't even worry about it. Just chill. I got you. Don't worry about it. And that was the conversation I had with him. And 2 hours later, my mother calls me and tells me, Buff's mother's name is Ella. So my mom's is like, Mark, Ella just called me. Buff fell and he's not breathing. I said, all right. She said it really calm. And I was like, all right, let me call you back. I hung up the phone and I just jumped in the car. And I picked up my boy Corey, and me and Corey went straight over there. And by the time we get there, he was gone already.
Oh, wow. Rest in peace.
And he passed on accident, actually. He didn't just out of nowhere have a heart attack. He was really big. He was 5'4", 750 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So he needed to lose some weight so he can, get some immediate weight so he can maybe have some surgical options to get healthy and everything like that.
Right.
So he couldn't lay down to sleep. He'd have to basically sleep sitting up. So he was like kind of like kneeling, watching the Apollo, and he asked his brother to move him to a stool. And brother helped him to the stool, and he sat him on the stool, and he walked away. But when he walked away, he wasn't centered properly on the stool, and his weight got the best of him, and he kind of fell over. And when he was on his back, he couldn't breathe, and his brother couldn't get him up. So he had a panic attack, and then his heart went into overdrive, and then he had a heart attack that way. So if he would have never fell, he would have never passed. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
God,
rest in peace.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's horrible.
You know what? I want to talk about the Crush Groove movie, man. One of my favorite movies, man. Oh, man. Talk about it. Looked like y'all had so much fun making that movie, man. Talk about that.
It was crazy. I mean, we just had gotten off of one of the Fresh Fest tours, I think Fresh Fest 2. And we got home, and, I remember we had like a week off. Like, take the week off, you start filming the next week. And it was to the set, shooting our parts. It was dope. We got some great bread for it. But the best thing that came out of it was our manager, because of our performance in Crush Groove, our manager was able to go to Warner Brothers and get us a 3-picture movie deal. Because of our performance in Crush Groove. They loved it. So, but it was great, man. Like I remember the Sbarro scene, the all you can eat scene.
Yes.
We were sitting at the table, and they were like, "This is Michael Schultz, the director. He did Cooley High and all of that. Right. He did House Party. He tells, all right, Mark, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to put a bunch of food on the table. We want you guys to stuff as much as you can in your mouth. I'm going to say cut. When I say cut, you freeze. Don't do nothing, right? We're going to bring up a bucket, and you spit all that food out. And then we're gonna move the bucket, then we're gonna say action, and then you pick up from there again. And little by little, we'll take the pizza pie off the wall, we'll remove this bucket of chicken, we'll take this, and then next thing you know, it looked like we ate the whole table in one sitting. It was magical, man. That shit blew my mind. Like I'm a 17-year-old kid watching this happen. So it was just amazing.
And the instrumental y'all used to use, even in that song, which was supposed to be comic, was hard. I mean, all you can eat. The bass line, the way it's the beginning of it, the way it starts, and the way you guys had rappers kind of got away from it, but y'all used to have some dope intros and some when the chorus is done, when you and Cool start rapping, and then you have beatbox on the end, and then some strong instrumentals from the piano player. I forget his name. He passed away. Oh my God.
Yeah, he was amazing.
When he used to put that song on there, the streets of Egypt. That song incorporated some of the music y'all put together in there. They just don't do it no more. And I mean, some of those songs be 5, 6, 7 minutes long, but they was meant to be dance music, club music. And I mean, it was just pure genius. You don't have that kind of people. A lot of people do a lot of drum machines. People mix stuff together, but you guys were pure.
That was the magic. That was the magic of Curtis Blow, Davey DMX, Larry Smith.
Yes,
those three
I remember
guys,
those names.
Those are basically the guys that did all around DMC. They did everybody. They did all Def Jam. Like they did everybody. So
you guys had live musicians, though. You guys had live musicians.
He did a guy that played bass and played drums and played, Davey DMX. He's nice on the drum machine, and he plays drums too, and keys and all of that. And Curtis is the one that came up with all the melodies, all the hooks. That boys, they're down, all the harmonies, everything. And I know all of this because I sat there and watched. Whenever we had to go in the studio, I was like a kid in the candy store because I wanted to learn how to produce music so bad. And that's what I learned it from, watching Curtis Blow. I knew what this knob on the console does, what that outboard gear does, harmonies. I'm starting to hear harmonies. I knew them, but I didn't understand them. When I heard Curtis teaching them to Allison Williams, I learned, that's how they do that. Okay. So I was able to watch. I was just like a student, just looking at these guys come in. Like the guy that played the piano, I can't remember his last name. Forgive me, but his first name is Don. I'll never forget that. And he was a big guy, and he was happy, like always smiling, cool as hell. Hey, Markie, what is it? He just started playing, like killing it, and I would just sit there in amazement watching him play. It was just crazy, man, crazy. So I was, I was blessed to be able to witness that.
So let me ask, where did the hold on, man? Where did Stickum come from? What's that? Where did that come from?
We're from Brooklyn. Right? Stickum was a routine that we used to do before we got a record deal. It was a routine that we used to do, and all the rhymes was about sticking up, like we were stick up kids.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Like, get that victim, stick him, stick him. Like, like we gonna go rob niggas. But we just mellowed out. We dumbed down the lyrics. I said that to somebody else. A lot of our songs we had to dumb them down. When I used to rap, when I first started rapping, I used to rhyme at block parties, and I was the one that would take everybody's head off. Like they would send me to go and get, like, he think he nice, Mark, go get him, and I would get on the mic and fry him up. Whoever it was in my neighborhood, whoever had a name, I had 20 raps for each one of them, and I could borrow from this one to use for that one. And so I was in my head, I'm like, anybody coming in, I'm taking their head off. But when it was time to translate to song, they made me dumb down. They made me Cool Rock dumb down. They were like, nah, people in Kalamazoo, Michigan are not going to understand what you mean when you say this. So we had to dumb everything down, and we had to be not as witty, not as lyrically. A lot of people didn't really, like, during the time, a lot of people didn't look at us like we were real lyricists as much. It didn't bother me because I knew what I was. I know what, what I still am. But, that was basically, the vibe that song was about,
Yeah, like, we all about New York because everybody be running around talking about what up, son? Yeah. What up, son?
Now it's
what up, son? Hey, yo, kid, what up, son? Yeah, that's what's up, man. Because
music
was so talk like that, so we didn't talk like that all the time. Go ahead, Manager.
Fat Boy's music was so signature that you even knew when you guys first started off in Crush Groove, the music, the bass line was sound like something from a Fat Boy album. Then it went on to the next one where Run DMC came in, and their sound was signature. And it was kind of genius the way they put your sound to you guys and their sound to Run DMC. You know, when you hear music come on the radio, oh, that's a Fat Boy. Before you say a word, that's the Fat Boy. Because you guys had a signature beat that nobody else did.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Why you guys wasn't on Self-Destruction?
We were on tour.
Oh, y'all was on tour? Okay,
we were asked to be in there, but we were on tour.
Yeah. LL wasn't on it either. I forgot the answer. LL probably was on tour with you guys, but he wasn't on it.
I think he was on the what was the name of that? He had a big ass tour. He was the headliner. I forget the name of it. I can't remember the name of it right now, but he was on like a really big tour at the same time. We were on the Wipeout tour.
Okay.
So was he bad? Was he on the Bad tour?
It might have been. I'm not sure if it was that one. There was another tour that was a really big name tour that L headlined, but I can't remember the name of it right now. It's slipping me. But it might have been the Bad tour. It might have been.
Now I peeped out you guys. I peeped out the Unsung on the Fat Boys. Was that pretty accurate? Was it pretty accurate?
Yeah.
The Unsung?
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate. Okay. How was that experience? Was it okay to go through all that again? And
I mean, I wish I could go through it all again. You know, things would have went a lot differently. You know,
right.
But at the end of the day, the only thing that I really felt bad about after watching it was I kind of really was busting my manager's balls a lot. You know, and there were some things that I didn't agree with. But at the end of the day, honestly, he was an amazing manager. Like another thing that helped us actually get that 3-picture deal. He told Warner Brothers that we opened up for Michael Jackson. Never been on tour. I've seen that in your research.
So I've seen it in your research because it said that Russell Simmons didn't want y'all on the tour, and so
that was too. Yeah,
and so he had to drum up publicity to show Russell that you guys deserve to be on the tour. I seen that.
No. What happened was this is how we got us on the tour.
Okay.
Russell didn't want us on the tour. He wanted only his artists, only Def Jam artists on the tour. But what happened was they didn't have no money. So our manager had a friend in Europe that just started a company called Swatch Watch.
Yeah.
And he got him to sponsor the tour. The only condition for my manager was Fat Boy's got to be on the tour.
Exactly.
So the first tour, so it's Fresh Fest #1. And that's the Fresh Fest that Jay-Z, every time somebody asks JB what was the most influential time in hip hop, he says the Fresh Fest tour. He always says that. And the Fresh Fest 1, we were the openers. We opened up for everybody. We had to do all the radio promo in stores. We were the one that went ahead of everyone else while they got to chill for the night and hang with girls and all that. We had to leave right after our show and go to the next city and promote the tour. You know what I mean? Right. Fresh Fest 2, now whatever city, whoever sold the most records in that particular city, headline. So we headlined like 75% of the tour.
Yeah.
He's like,
So how did a company like Sutra lose one of the biggest artists that they had? How did that happen? I know things happen, contract disputes, things like that, but how did they lose y'all?
Being greedy. You know, they stole $1 million from us.
That's right.
Can't mess with that.
We had gotten an accounting of our tour and record sales and everything, and we had lawyers. You know, I had my own lawyer. Other guys had their own lawyers. We had my manager. He had his own lawyer. Everybody looked at the contracts. Everybody said they're fine. My mother looked at the contract and read it and said, "Wait a minute, what's this?" And she started reading it and uncovered a wormhole that just with $1 million worth of unaccounted for money. So instead of being sued, for real. Instead of being sued for $10 million, they decided to just let us go because we knew we can get a bigger deal than that, somewhere else. So we were already like the shit by then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
exactly.
Third album.
So let me ask you about the Instagram battles. What do you think about these Instagram battles?
They dope, man. The verses, they're really dope. I like them, man. I think there should be a little bit more rules to them, and it should be a little more criteria to who goes against who. I thought some of the battles were a little kind of mismatched, but the majority of them were really good. But there should be a couple of things I don't think that you should be able to include features. Like, if I said a rap on a Michael Jackson song, it's really Michael Jackson that blew that song up. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
right,
now, I'm
right.
not saying I can't be responsible for making a record hot, but when you're an artist, when you're on a song for an artist like Mariah Carey, she's going to be successful if you on it or not.
Right,
so
right.
Those songs like that should be allowed in the versus battle. It should be the artist songs and that's it. But it's coming out nice. They're doing a good job of what they're doing. It's great. I love it.
Let me ask you
did
about
a single a few years ago. How did that feel without the boys, without your partners?
Oh, it felt great at the time.
Oh,
remember, you're talking about Swing My Way, right?
Right.
Yeah, tripping out and all that. When when I just like gotten kicked out of the group, and then they asked me to get, all right, my manager called me like, all right, Mark, we're gonna give you another chance to come back in the group, and I'm like, all right, I'm starving. My manager's withholding money from me for like a year and a half. Don't want to give me no bread. None of my money that he owes me, he doesn't want to give it to me. So one day I get a call and he's like, we're gonna give you a chance to come back in the group. I'm like already packing my bags as he's talking to me on the phone. Then I'm supposed to leave the next day, and I had a lawyer friend of mine. He called me up. He's like, yo, Mark, congratulations. And I'm like, congratulations for what? He said, the second movie in the three picture deal. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, Charlie didn't tell you? I'm like, nah, he didn't say nothing. I'm starting to get happy. Then he goes, yeah, that's why they want you back, because Warner Brothers, they won't do any more movies unless it's all three original members. So I'm like, that's why they want me back? You know what? I'm good. I'm not going.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that third movie never got made.
The second movie never got made.
The second movie never got made.
Yeah, Disorderlies was the first one. The second movie was going to be a movie called Fat Tuesday, and it was basically a horror comedy movie. It was basically going to be set in during Mardi Gras in New Orleans, and it was like a werewolf Fat Boys comedy type movie. And I read the script, and it was amazing. It was so dope. Like, when I read Disorderlies, I really didn't like the script that much. Right. I thought it sounded like no offense or anything, but it sounded like, I don't want to say a white guy wrote it. It sounded like somebody who wasn't into hip hop wrote it. That's what I want to say. Right. But when I read Fat Tuesday script, that sounded like somebody who was engulfed in hip hop wrote that. They knew everything, how to finesse it, what would work, what wouldn't. Like in Disorderlies, while I'm shooting scenes, I'm trying to fix, Mike, can I do it this way? Or, like we're fixing shit like that. But when we were about to shoot Fat Tuesday, everything was perfect. And I'm really upset that we didn't get to shoot that movie, Yeah. But I ended up leaving the group from right there. I never turned back.
But if you mentioned earlier about crossovers and with Run DMC with Aerosmith, and you guys with the Beach Boys, and you weren't really happy with that. And I gotta say, it wasn't one of my favorite songs either. But if you was to choose your own crossover group, who would have been? Who would you rather have worked with?
Crossover group? Of course, Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All day. Yeah. And you know what's funny? The very first time I met Michael Jackson was at, I can't remember what Grammy Awards it was, but we were presenting an award at the Grammys. And at the end of the Grammys, they wanted all the performers, the presenters, the artists, the winners, the losers to go behind stage, and then the curtains will come up and we all waving by, So while we're back there, I'm looking at Stevie. Stevie's like number one to me. Like I lost my mind, or I see Stevie Wonder. So I see Stevie and I'm going crazy. Hey, I gotta go see what's up to Stevie. All of a sudden, Michael Jackson walks up to me and goes, hey, the Fat Boys. And he starts beatboxing. And it's like, yo, Mike, he's going crazy hanging with him.
That was dope.
He was a fan.
Yo,
he was a fan.
Big fan. Okay. Big fan, yeah.
Hey, did you ever meet Notorious Big?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us about that, you guys' relationship.
We weren't like friends. I just met him a few times, but I'll tell you about one time that I saw him. I saw him about maybe 4 or 5 times. We always had small conversation. How you doing? Showing love. I love you guys. Like, you guys inspired me. That type of talk. But there was one time, Faith Evans, who was his wife at the time, she would be in my studio every day writing. She's a phenomenal writer. She's dope. So when I was producing with Soul Convention, doing all the Mariah, Mary, J-Lo shit and all that, she would come to my studio every day and just write songs, So one day there's a restaurant in New York called the Shark Bar. And the Shark Bar, I don't know if it's still there, but the Shark Bar was like a really high class soul food spot. Amazing. Everybody would go there. One day I walk in and I see Faith sitting at a table, and she's with Big, Little C's, and some other people. So I walk over to say hi to Faith and everybody at the table. Then I had to go to Big and I said, yo, dog, I don't mean to interrupt your dinner, but I just had to let you know, because every time I see you, I never get to tell you, yo, you the shit. Like, like you the
Yeah.
bomb, nigga. Like
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, stand up.
It was amazing for me that moment because maybe a week after he died, they released his last recorded interview, and it was sitting in a park. And in the park, he says, what really makes me proud is when my peers recognize my achievements. So I took that, like, when I saw him, I was able to tell him that. You know what I mean? I was able to tell him how much I appreciate it.
That's what's up, man.
It was a really good moment for me, you know?
And, you know, the movie didn't portray him as a really nice guy. That he really didn't want the beef between him and Pop. No. And that, you know, it kind of got out of hand. He didn't, it wasn't instigate. You know, was that you know of, was that a little bit accurate that he didn't want that beef?
They were really good friends. And then Pac's whole beef was more on promotion. You know, like it was probably 75% promotion, 25% real, you know? Right. And for Big, he was kind of like, I don't feel like dealing with it. Like I don't want no beef. Like, you know, but it was like he was afraid or anything. You know what I mean? It wasn't interesting to him. You know, to him, he just wanted to be cool with everybody and, you know, smoke blunts and hang out and do records together. That was his vibe. But he was just understood that he couldn't, you know, it was too many other people involved in it around Pac, where he couldn't really reel him back in. You know what I'm saying? They were kind of keeping him away. So
right, because he never really he never responded to anything Pac said on his albums. I noticed that too.
Except Who Shot Ya was about Pac.
Right. So hey, so Prince, what you got going on lately, man? What you been up to lately?
The most important thing that I'm doing, there's two things that well, really three things that I'm working on. I have a foundation called Spread Love. So I've been helping out. There've been a lot of families that were affected by this quarantining, you know, job loss, and there were a lot of single mothers that were really affected in the Miami area. You know, their jobs were forced to shut down, and the government wasn't turning around that cash fast enough. You know, when they shut everything down, they were like, go and get 3 weeks worth of groceries, and we'll take care of you by the third week. We'll figure something out. There were people who couldn't afford 1 week of groceries. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So I was basically coming out of my pocket, you know, feeding a bunch of people, as many as I could, you know. And then I started doing some stuff on IG and collecting donations, and people came through, man. People really showed love, and I was able to, you know, take care of a lot of people. But that was like one of the main things I'm working on, my Spread Love Foundation. The other thing I'm working on is I'm currently filling in for Biz Markie. I don't know if you guys know, but Biz is he's in the hospital right now.
I've seen that.
Yeah, he's dealing with complications of type 2 diabetes, and Biz has a show on LL Cool J's Rock the Bells radio from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. So a month and a half ago, L called me and he's like, "Yo, Mark, we're having a problem with Biz. He needs to take a little time off. Can you fill in for him?" So I've been filling in for him ever since.
That's what's up.
I'm on every day on channel 43, Sirius XM. LL Cool J's Rock the Bells radio from noon to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So
okay.
And then lastly, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, and lastly, I'm about to make the move. I've always loved, you know, Crush Groove, Disorderlies. So I've always wanted, one of my goals have been to produce film. Right. So I'm about to make a move within the next 2 years to LA to start pursuing that dream a little bit harder.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. I would love to see that, man. Are you in Miami or New York right now?
I'm in Miami.
Oh, in Miami. Oh man, that's what's up, man. I've never been to Miami, so I got to put that on my list.
Oh, you'll love it.
I'll tell you. I got to do something before you go.
Okay.
My favorite album out of all the albums was Big and Beautiful.
Okay.
And my favorite song was Human Beatbox number 3.
Damn, I remember that.
Call me Markie Dee. The rhymes are right. Let me loose at a party. I rhyme all night. So all you bum MCs, best out to listen. Prince Markie Dee is bar to start kicking. Quick and witty, the rhymes I say. Slay everyone who stands in my way. Bring life to a party. And should I mention, I relax your nerve and really kick it.
Wow.
Funky pressure, that's up in good shape. I sell deaf on the radio, records and tape. So check out the rhymes that I display. Make a move at a party. Wiggle and swing our best. I'll bust a rhyme that'll make you pump. From rhymes like a caddy taking every bump, cold rock the house with the human beatbox. But I think it is time to stop because I'm done. Markie Dee's part.
That's what's
I know
up.
Blues part too.
That's what's up.
I've been singing that forever.
I'm impressed.
Man,
I'm impressed.
Yo,
I didn't
I'm
know
impressed because I didn't remember one bar of that. I was trying to get it, catch you somewhere in the beginning, but I couldn't remember
Man,
it.
good job, man. Good job.
I know Stick 'em. I know them all. I do everybody's part.
That's
Hey,
dope.
I tell you what, go ahead and give out your social media handles so everybody can get a hold of you, Prince.
Yeah, it's at Prince Markie Dee, Twitter and IG. I got a Facebook too at Prince Markie Dee, but I'm really not on Facebook a lot. I'm more on Instagram and Twitter. So, but yeah, feel free to hit me. And my email, I am legend, like the movie, I am legend, PMD, Prince Markie Dee @gmail.com. So everybody want to send me music or just say what's up, how you doing, Prince?
Yo. Well, thanks a lot for joining the show, man. We really appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me. The honor was all mine.
And you take care, man, and be careful out there, man. And wear your mask, okay?
I try not to go nowhere. I'm 51. I'm not trying to get no COVID, none of that. I don't even let nobody at my door. You know what I mean? So I'm good.
Okay, well you take care.
You looking good, brother. You looking really good, sir.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Good.
Prince Markie Dee, y'all.
This is a treat for me. My childhood hero.
Yo, that's what's up.
Man, that was a treat for me, man.
Wow, Major, I'm impressed. Major, that was dope, man.
Man, are you kidding me? I know every line. I know every lyric, every beatbox music. Oh, I can do it all, man. I had every tape.
Listen, when we had Spice One on, that's how I was, man. I know every lyric. If we get MC8 on, same way with 8, man. I know all 8 lyrics. If we get them on, we get Chuck D on. I know all Public Enemy.
Don't man. Because after the Fat Boys, that was my second favorite. That was my became my first favorite group. Was Public Enemy and Griffin on them and the S1Ws. Because they came out. I started liking them when I was entering my college days, and back then, Black Power was out. That was back in the day when they had X-Clan. Everybody was speaking politically. KRS-One, all them, Boogie Down Production. It was all about politics in the music. And then
X-Clan.
It took a turn. Yeah, X-Clan. It took a kind of a turn when gangster rap came out. It kind of changed the message, and everybody was feeling the gangster rap instead of the political stance that rap was presenting out of the West, out of the West Coast. But it changed rap, and look, it changed forever. But that's okay. It's cool.
Let me.
We have our evolutions.
Let me see here. I just jumped to the comments. Human beatbox jock. 4-woman theater around the corner. Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm just checking everything. Shout out to Ro Daniels. Shout out to Tish Peterson. I'm just giving shouts out in the comments. Okay, yeah, that was pretty dope. Hey, I just wanted to remind everybody that on Monday we got Dana Dane, the Cinderfella. We got Dana Dane on Monday. Then we got R&B star Donnell Jones coming in the building on Tuesday, and then Wednesday is a potluck, man. I mean, I've got about 3-4 of them lined up, but ain't nobody committed. But I'll let you guys know. And then on Thursday we got Mr. Cheeks from the Lost Boys, and also on Thursday we're going up to the premiere of the movie premiere Indictment up in Dearborn, Michigan, at the Ford Wyoming Theater in Dearborn, and we're gonna go live from there. And I talked to the director of the movie, and we get to. He gonna let me set up shop, and we got first crack at all the actors in the movie. So we're gonna be on site interviewing the actors, and plan to have a good time. That's gonna be the first road trip for the Big Trav and Q show. We got a week to go. Q, you gonna be ready in a week to go? If not, well, it don't even matter. I mean, whether you ready or not, Major want to go. He coming.
We're gonna come get you, brother. We're gonna wheel you up there.
And like I said, the plan is we're gonna just set up a table. I got to get us a backdrop design, and then and we just gonna do the show. We might even just go
the
Ford Wyoming drive-in theater. Yeah, And like I said, my plan is to I'll probably get up there this weekend to take a look and talk to them and see where I can set up at, because I want to set up inside. And as the actors come in, I'm gonna coordinate with the director, and we it's gonna be just like a red carpet event. As they come in, hopefully we can get somebody to direct them over to our set, and then we can interview them briefly before they go into to see the movie. So be on the lookout for all of that. Other than that, make sure you go to our Instagram, follow us on Instagram, go to our YouTube page, subscribe to us on YouTube. And if you got comments about the show or just want to show some love, drop some comments, drop me a DM, drop some comments, holler at Bama, holler at Bama, holler at Q, and we'll see what we can do. Yeah. So until it's Thursday, until Monday, Bama. See you later, Bama.
All right. It's the Big Trav and Q show.
What they waiting for?
Just another damn podcast. Now let's go.